Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a book review for The Deal of a Lifetime by Fredrik Backman. If you guys don't know, Fredrik Backman is one of my all-time favorite authors. I've read every single book or novella that has been translated into English. He's originally Swedish and his books are all translated by different people. This one is translated by Alice Menzies. I do not know how to pronounce her name, but I think she did an amazing job. I was sent this novella to possibly read and review it for you guys on my channel, and that is what I'm going to be doing today because I love Fredrik Backman. Since this novella is incredibly short, I'm just going to read the blurb that's on the front jacket cover of the book so that you can get an idea about what it's about. It is Christmas Eve and a father and son are meeting for the first time in years. The father has a story he needs to share before it's too late. As he tells his son about a courageous little girl lying in a hospital bed a few miles away, he reveals even more about himself. His triumphs in business, his failures as a parent, his past regrets, his hopes for the future. Now on this night before Christmas, the father has been given an unexpected chance to do something remarkable that could change the destiny of a little girl he hardly knows. But before he can take the deal of a lifetime, he must find out what his own life has actually been worth, and only his son can reveal the answer. And that is basically what this whole book is about. As usual with my book reviews, I'm gonna go through my pros, go through my cons, give you my rating, and be done. The first thing about this book that I just really enjoyed was that this one, unlike all of his other ones, is actually illustrated and it's in color. Like, this is the first illustration of the book, and I mean, it has something to do with the story, but I really enjoyed all of these little illustrations that really give you an insight into what is going on. The main character in the story does not actually have a name, nor do any of the other characters in the story, so it's basically him telling the story to his son. So when he's referring to the son, he says you. When he's referring to the little girl, he says she. When he's referring to himself, he says I. So you never learn any of the names of the characters, and I think that that makes it a lot easier to put yourself into these characters and think how they think. Also, before the story even started, I read the foreword by the author and it was already giving me such strong emotions of sadness but also happiness. He tells you the backstory of what he was doing while he wrote this novella and what it kind of means. He said the story is about love and death and about never really being able to escape your hometown or your hometown old self. And this story is really him reconciling who he's become with who he was back then. And he hopes that the readers will take similar things out of this story. One of the things that I think Fredrik Backman does incredibly well is cover important issues, important themes in his books. And this one, some of the main ones are happiness. What does it mean to be happy? What brings people happiness? Is it financial success? Is it having a family? Is it traveling? Different things bring people happiness. And this explores how people can have very different ways of getting happiness. Another theme is how humans have this huge obsession with legacies and leaving legacies behind. The main character of this book had this huge obsession with legacies, and it kind of explores whether that's worth it or not. And another one of the things that this book really brings up is the price of things. So leaving a legacy costs something, and it costs the person who's left the legacy something. And this novella also explores the difference between cost and value. The main character of this novel thinks that time has the only consistent value on Earth and in life. It's always 1 second or 1 hour or 1 minute. Those increments are always the same value, and other things have fluctuating values. So things have different values for different people, and the values can also change between one point in your life and another. And cost is driven by what value people place onto these different things. And with that cost and value thing, people trade away their value. They trade away their value in seconds throughout the entire lives, and they can never get it back. And so you have to be careful about which things you value and for which things you pay the cost of your time for. Did that make sense? I don't know. And I loved the exploration between value, cost, the cost of legacy, and happiness. It was just amazing. The other huge, enormous theme in this book is death and different types of death. People can die and their lives can die, but there are also deaths of ideas and ideals and dreams. And it explores all of those different types of death in this very short novella. And also this book talks about different aspects of people. It talks about kindness, charity, compassion, love, and it sets it alongside ruthlessness, pride and overambition, and kind of discusses all of those different things together and mashes them all together. And the last pro for this novella that I'm going to talk about is that I loved the theme, so many themes, I know, of that it takes a life to save a life. You have to give up a life to have a different life. It's not a death for a death. You don't have the death of something to prevent the death of another. And if you read that forward, it talks about Fredrik Backman theoretically meeting up with his old self, the one that lived in his hometown, which this book is set in his hometown. And it talks about him having to reconcile who he's become with what he thought his life would be when he was younger. And that was kind of what this book was about for me. This book is magical realism, so every person is gonna take something else out of it. I actually already lent this book out, and I asked him what he thought about the book and what the ending meant and what happened in the end, because at page 54 out of 60, the story will diverge for everyone that reads it, so everyone will get something a little bit different out of it. And so no, my version of this book is gonna be different than your version of this book. As for cons, that magical realism element really threw me off, because when I read the ending, I had no idea what had happened. I actually had to read this book twice. Well, this book, it was like 60 something pages. Twice to be able to wrap my head around things and to come up with my own meaning for this story for this current moment in my life. And so going in, you might have to read this book twice to fully understand what is happening. So I definitely recommend going through it and then going through it again, because you'll pick up on small little nuances that are thrown into the story at the beginning that you'll really narrow in on when you reread it, and it'll help you decide what the story means for you. When I first finished the book, I wrote down a whole bunch of possibilities that I thought might have been what happened at the end of this book, but honestly, it's just gonna mean something different every time you read it, and for every single person that reads it. In the end, I ended up giving this novella 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I love Fredrik Backman's writing. I definitely recommend it. So that's gonna be my review on The Deal of a Lifetime by Fredrik Backman. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up, and in the comments, tell me what this story meant for you when you read it. If you haven't picked it up yet, are you excited to? Anything else you want me to know, leave it down below, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.